Urgent Birds fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Birds news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Eagles sign Giants ex-edge rusher. In stockpiling one position, two of the top players on the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line last season are no longer with the team. As a replacement to those losses, the Eagles are calling on an old friend for reinforcements. Former 2021 draftee Patrick Johnson signed back to the Eagles Thursday evening as a way to bolster the team's pass rush. While he won't be able to replace Josh Sweat right away, he's a quality depth piece for Vic Fangio and the defense. Johnson spent his first 4 seasons with the Eagles and recorded a forced fumble in 2022 before playing for the New York Giants for most of the 2024 season. Sweat and defensive tackle Milton Williams each signed with new teams this offseason. Brandon Graham, the longest tenured Eagle in franchise history, could also end up retiring this offseason as well. That means there are needs for edge rushers across the board. Johnson won't be someone who steps in and takes control of the job. He has to jump over Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith, and Jalix Hunt along the depth chart. There's also a very good chance that the Eagles opt to draft another edge rusher in April's selection process. At the very least, though, the Eagles have someone who is familiar with their franchise and scheme as a depth piece. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Eagles Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Breakdown of QB Kenny Pickett's contract. With the Browns, how much does the Browns' new quarterback for 2025 count against the cap? One would think that the Cleveland Browns still have a few moves they need to make in free agency, including at the quarterback position. With that said, they already made one move at the position, and that was when they acquired QB Kenny Pickett from the Philadelphia Eagles. The Browns did not give Pickett a new contract. He is still on his rookie deal from when he was a first-round pick in 2022 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Therefore, let's look at the final year of that contract, which now belongs to the Browns QB Kenny Pickett's contract. Cap hits per year base salary signing bonus total cap hit 2002-52 623,002 thona 623,350. It's as straightforward as you can get. Pickett's base salary is $623 million and fully guaranteed, so that is what his cap hit is. All rookies have signing bonuses that are prorated over the span of 4 years, so what happened to that? When the Steelers traded him to the Eagles in 2024, the signing bonuses left for the final 2 years of his deal accelerated and became dead cap for Pittsburgh last year. Therefore, there's nothing for the Browns to worry about, and it makes Pickett a cheaper reclamation project. Do the Browns save any money with the acquisition of Pickett? It's hard to answer that question because it depends on a variety of factors. First, you have to remove Deshaun Watson from the picture entirely and put him off to the side. In this trade, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was traded to the Eagles, and he had a base salary of $1, so $30 million. The Browns are eating his signing bonus in dead cap worth $171,134 in 2025. When you put it like that, Pickett then adds $764 million to the cap than DTR would have accounted for. It became pretty apparent that DTR did not look like an NFL-caliber quarterback for regular season action with his arm. Pickett, a former first-round pick, was very pedestrian in 2 years with Pittsburgh. As a backup to Philly last year, he showed a little more in very limited action. It's not a bad gamble to see if Kevin Stefanski, who has gotten a lot out of guys like Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco, can work some magic with Pickett. If Pickett is a backup, he comes as a reasonable, cheap option for the 2025 campaign. If he is plan A as the starter, that's going to take an out-of-nowhere stunner like Sam Darnold's 2024 season with the Vikings to win the fan base over, but stranger things have happened. Mekhi Becton free agency, Chargers pry Eagles starting guard away with 2-year deal. The Philadelphia Eagles have lost a lot of key defensive starters in free agency. For the first time this offseason, Philadelphia lost a free agent on the other side of the ball. Mekhi Becton departed Philadelphia after reaching a deal with the Los Angeles Chargers, the team announced. Per ESPN, the deal is for 2 years and $20 million. Becton will join an offensive line that already has Rashawn Slater at left tackle and Joe Alt at right tackle, and he will continue to play guard. Expected to play right guard, the Chargers could release Trey Pipkins in order to save salary cap space. Signing a one-year contract last offseason, the Eagles moved Becton to guard, and he became a force on the offensive line. Becton allowed 3 sacks and 22 pressures this season at guard 5. 2 pressure rate allowed per dropback. He allowed 3 sacks and 8 pressures in the playoffs, 7. 2 pressure rate allowed per dropback. The Eagles braced for a potential departure of Becton as they traded for former first-round pick Kenyon Green in a deal that sent safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Houston Texans. Philadelphia sent a 2026 sixth-round pick to Houston in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick in the deal. Green and Tyler Steen will compete for the right guard spot with Becton's departure. Green allowed 5 sacks and 28 pressures in 329 pass-blocking snaps last season, 8. 5 pressure rate allowed per dropback, but will be under the tutelage of Eagles. Offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland, who was crucial in Becton's resurgence. The Eagles have lost just 1 starter on offense on their Super Bowl championship team, Becton. They lost 4 on defense and 6 total players on that side of the ball, as the Super Bowl champions are going through a slight tinkering of the roster this offseason. Eagles fans will be disappointed in trade hauls for 2 players. Reportedly on the block, the Philadelphia Eagles are long past their Super Bowl victory and are retooling their roster for the 2025 season. The Eagles already lost Milton Williams and Josh Sweat to big money deals in free agency and are currently waiting to see what will happen with their biggest free agent still left on the board, offensive guard Mekhi Becton. While Philadelphia has made marginal signings in free agency, their $27.1 million in cap space suggests they'll need to be creative with their moves. It led general manager Howie Roseman to put 2 players on the trade block in recent days. But there's a better chance that Eagles fans will be disappointed with their potential return. Bryce Huff, Dallas Goedert won't return. Much in potential Eagles trade, according to Fox Sports, says Jordan Schultz. The Eagles have been open to trade talks involving tight end Dallas Goedert and edge rusher Bryce Huff. Goedert is entering the final year of his contract, while Huff was a free agent signing coming over from the New York Jets, but neither player figures to be attractive in a potential deal. Goedert has been one of the league's most productive tight ends since entering the league as a second-round pick out of South Dakota State in the 2018 draft. His 4,085 receiving yards rank 6th among tight ends during his career, while his 349 catches rank 7th and his 24 touchdowns rank 9th. But at 30 years old, he could be on the back end of his career. Goedert has dealt with several injuries and has played a full season just once over 7 seasons. His production also tailed off last year as he battled a broken forearm suffered in a Week 9 win over the Dallas Cowboys, as his 42 receptions and 496 yards were the lowest totals since his rookie season, and his 2 touchdowns were a career low. With an $11.8 million cap hit and 3 void years totaling $23. $8 million, Goedert doesn't seem like an attractive asset to acquire in a trade, but it also puts Huff in the same boat. Huff came over from the Jets on a 3-year, $51.1 million contract, but he couldn't recapture the upside after a career-high 10 sacks during the 2023 season. Huff's overall pro grade of 68. 3 wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the 79. 7 grade he put up his last year in New York. The 26-year-old also saw his pressures dip from 67 in 2023 to 20 in 2024, and saw his playing time decrease, playing more than 15 snaps just 6 times in the final 6 games, and was a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. With a $7.5 million cap hit and $27.5 million pushed into 4 void years after his contract expires in 2027, teams aren't likely to pay a king's ransom for a player that the Eagles are dying to get rid of. It's a case where the speculation isn't likely to match the actual deal, and why Huff and Goedert are more likely to return or be released ahead of the 2025 season. And now, Birds fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Birds. I'll be back any moment with more Eagles Nation news. Fly, Eagles, fly.